today we have Nanda. She's 21 years old, if I'm not wrong, and she's studying architecture in Hyderabad. So, Nanda, why don't you introduce yourself to us?
Hi, I'm Nanda Kautuvi and I'm 21. I'll be 21 like after 4 or 5 days from now.
Oh, okay, you're still
And
20.
yeah, my birthday is on November 14th.
Okay. Oh, very soon then.
Yeah.
That's
So I'm an
nice.
architecture student in Hyderabad and I'm also a Kuchipudi dancer,
Wow.
pursuing my diploma and certification right now.
That's
Yeah,
very
that's
cool.
all about me.
Yeah, I got to know Nanda about a year ago. Was it more than that? When we did an interview together for adoptees?
I guess, yeah, it's been a year.
About a year, right? Yeah, that was really fun. So I'm glad
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to connect like that. So obviously, you were adopted as a baby, right? I'm sure over the years, the meaning of adoption has changed for you. So currently at 2021, what does adoption mean to you right now?
Right now, like adoption is a complex and also a beautiful thing, and I feel like it's a win-win situation where the parents receive a child to show their love, and also a child gets a home
Yeah.
and shelter, protection, and a chance to grow in love.
Wow,
So
I love
that's
that.
what I feel right now.
That's really cool. Do you remember the first time you actually realized what adoption meant? Not like a word, but like what it meant to you?
There was not a specific point or specific day or a time. But like my parents have been telling me since I was a kid, like continuously and constantly. But there was this one day when I was 12 years old or 11 years old. My mom used to tell me all the bedtime stories every day. And one day she told me about a small girl named Prerna. And it was about her being adopted. And after hearing the story, I ran to my father and I was like, "Who is this Prerna?" He was like, "That's you."
That's so cute.
Like I still remember that moment clearly. So that's the moment when I knew what was adoption and
Okay, and
in a positive.
okay, and did you understand what it meant at that point?
Yeah, at that point I did.
Okay, is it because your parents used to keep talking to you about adoption? Okay.
Yeah.
So, would you say that helped that you were familiar with the, topic and all of that? Yeah.
Yeah, that could help because at like if you dump everything on a child on a specific day, but like when they're a teenager or something, so if you tell them suddenly that they're adopted, they might get mixed feelings. So it might be good or bad.
Right.
So
Right. Totally.
Constantly talking about it will make it easier, I feel.
Right. So my book starts at a much younger age, right? Like around 5 to let's say 10. That's when kids are sort of learning about what adoption means and all of that. How would you think it's the best way to help a child understand that? Like, how did your parents ease you into the topic and make you familiar with it?
Like,
And was that good or
same,
bad?
like
Yeah.
it was good actually. Like they used to create some stories and everything, and they used to talk about my birthplace, which is Pune.
Oh, you're from Pune. Oh, that's my hometown. Like, I'm from
Really?
Pune. Yeah. That's so crazy. Okay.
Yeah, so like they eased me into it. Like, yeah, so maybe when a child is 5 or 7, we can just try telling them a fictional story or something, imaginary story, which can help them process it good.
Yeah, that's true. I know you've been earlier also you told me that and right now also you said ki your family has been speaking had been speaking about it a lot at that age, and I think yeah, definitely that is very helpful for kids just as you said, it'll regulate the emotions and all that they feel also at that age properly. So your opinion is obviously that parents should start the conversation about adoption with their kid much earlier, right?
Yeah.
And if you had to go back to that age, let's say around 5 to 10, what is one thing that you would tell your younger self about adoption?
I would tell that it's completely fine. It's nothing totally different, or you're not totally different from other person. You're unique. Yeah, you're unique, and like always, we all been said like we are chosen.
Yes, chosen child. Yeah, heart child.
Yeah, and I would say take pride in it. Take pride in who you are.
It's amazing advice. Like definitely, like I'd go back and say, okay, you know, this is very normal, and yeah, you are unique in your own way, and just yeah, that's amazing. I love that. So coming to like the teenage, right? Was there any intense emotions that you felt around that? I mean, all teenagers feel very intensely about very many different things. You know, friends come in the picture, school comes in the picture. So preteen, teenage is like very hard for any child. So with adoption, were there any additional challenges that you had to face, or just anything different?
Yeah, like for every person, the teenage is like a really emotional ride in their life. So as an adoptee, I faced a lot of issues with my friends and my family. And I guess the family issues were since way before I was born, or like way before I was adopted into the family. But I understand at that point, because when I was a teenager, I could understand the words, I could understand what they were saying. So yeah, it was difficult. With the friends, they were like, few of them were too good, like they always supported me and everything. But few of my friends, they would like make it as a gossip or something. If I share something, they would make it as a gossip, and the whole school got to know. Like, which I didn't want it to at that point, because I was not comfortable at that time.
Of course.
And family, yeah, there were so many things. First of all, they didn't want me to want my parents to adopt me. Like they were like, have to a child, it's something like that, and they always had this vision that a child or a person should be like fair and chubby, and like they shouldn't be a dusk person or dusky person or a dark person. So
yeah, stereotypical Indian expectations.
Yeah.
That's
so
great.
I was always kind of a different species for them.
Yeah, I can relate. Yeah. So do you remember any of the, like, let's say, shift in emotions towards the adoption in general that you felt, like, let's say, anger, sadness, or anything like that? And do you remember how you coped with them at that point?
Yeah, like it was really emotionally disturbing and mentally disturbing at that point. And for a long time, I just kept it inside me. But at some point, I felt like I just need to speak up. And I spoke to my mom at first. And I was just a kid, so I didn't know how to handle the situations. So my mom helped me handle the situation, talk to their parents, the kids' parents, and stuff like that. And slowly, I just mostly accepted the fact that I am this kind of person, accepted my truth, and like owned my truth or something like that. And yeah, I just worked on myself instead of listening to their opinions. I just stick to mine.
That is beautiful. Yeah. Except I think it's more of self acceptance that is going to give you the peace that, okay, yeah, I am adopted, I am this, I am that, and yeah, what are you going to do about it, sort of thing, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's a philosophy that I also live by. That's amazing. If, like, today, if let's say a teenager or someone who is adopted is, let's say, struggling with something similar that you have gone through in school or in family or something like that, what advice would you give them? Like, how would you tell them to cope with such a situation? acceptance, of
First
course,
thing,
is one thing we've
yeah.
covered. Yeah.
First of all, we need to accept it. Accept that you are you, and you might they might see you differently, but it doesn't mean that you are bad or something. So don't take it in a negative way. Accept yourself and work on yourself. See, for example, I have dyslexia,
Right.
and I accepted that I have dyslexia. I accepted that I don't know few spellings and stuff, and I was kind of embarrassed at that moment, but not now. And I accepted it, but I also worked on it.
Wow.
Like I improved my speaking skills, and I improved the writing and everything. So here also we need to accept ourselves and work on our mental health and our emotional status, and choose how to respond to those situations.
That's very inspiring and very amazing. Definitely. Were there any activities that you did like to cope as well? Like I remember that throughout life I have journaled a lot, and I used to love playing, cycling, all kind of sports and all. So that was my release. So do you think you had something like that, and do you think these things help in general for anything, let's say any tough times?
Yeah, sure. Like I had dance. I still have dance.
Yes.
It's like my escape from reality.
Wow.
So I always dance, and like if I ever feel low, I just keep some music and start dancing. And I used to draw and paint sketches and doodles and stuff. Now I don't really.
Yeah, for me, I have two left feet. I could never dance. Like I really suck at it. But yeah, I see your Instagram, and I just saw your YouTube actually. I didn't know you had a YouTube. So I was like,
Oh God,
but yeah,
that
you
was like totally embarrassing.
but it's really nice, yeah.
Yeah, it was-
You're gonna have to teach me how to dance.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So, do you think the coping mechanisms have stayed the same throughout, like, or has anything changed now? Like, how do you identify and deal with like intense emotions, whether or not they're related to adoption? Earlier, how did you know, okay, I am going through something, I am feeling, let's say, very angry or mad at someone, or like sad and helpless, and now how do you identify it, and how do you cope with them? Earlier, was it the same? Have you changed your coping mechanism or anything like that? A big question, but yeah, you can break it down
Yeah.
and answer. Sorry.
I had slight difference, different coping mechanism right now. Like before, I used to keep it to myself and talk to myself and go through it and everything. But sometimes we always don't have an answer, right? Like maybe a trusted adult could have an answer, so we could talk to them. And at this point, I feel like talking to someone whom you trust is a good way. Like one of the ways you can cope. And also, like before, I used to like yell at someone or directly react to it. But now we respond. I just feel like I create boundaries between me and that person. If that person is crossing their boundaries, I would just stop them right there. And before, I used to like, oh, he's telling me I should obey that person, I should obey. I was like that. So I couldn't maintain the boundary, I couldn't maintain the limits. But now I understand like that person is the way that they are. I can't change them. I can't change their opinion. But I don't have to change myself for them. I am me. They are them. But you don't have to you don't have to accept their words. You know who you are, and be yourself until unless you don't harm anyone. That's it.
That's really beautiful. Yeah, you said one thing, ki, reacting versus responding. So that really stayed. Like definitely, people usually react to situations instead of responding, and I think that's a very good shift to have as you grow up. Yeah, that's amazing.
And I'm still going through it, everything.
Yeah, of course, it's a learning process.
You see every new person every day and you have to deal with them.
So let's talk a little larger about adoption. Do you think adoption is still something people whisper about in India? Is it still like a taboo subject?
In general, like I don't know many adopted kids, but I still feel like few of them still think adoption is like not a good thing or something like that, and we need to keep it a secret or something.
Yes.
But it doesn't always have to be a secret. I mean, if you want to tell your story, you can. If you don't want to, it's perfectly fine. But the kid deserves to know.
Definitely. Yeah.
That's what I feel. And there's always been this like distance.
How did you decide to come out and talk about this? You don't know kids that are adopted, right? Is what you said, and basically you didn't have too much exposure to what other adopted kids are doing and all. How did you come up and say, okay, I want to talk about this? Because it's a very big decision to take, right? Especially in today's time because of the taboo. So yeah, how did you come to that decision?
First of all, I didn't feel like I need to hide it from everyone. Before, when I was in 10th grade or something, I felt like this adoption thing, it can be like it should be known only for my best friends. Only my best friends and my close people have to know about it, but not others. But later I thought, why not? If I want to, I can. Yes. And if it helps someone who is not yet ready, and I do want to help them through you, maybe.
That's very sweet, but yeah. So, do you remember telling your like the first time you told a friend, and like what made you go? Yeah, what made you go and tell a friend, and how was the experience?
First time I told a friend, it was maybe I was in a sixth grade, I guess. Yeah.
And was it like a big secret also that
for me?
Yes, for you only. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big secret, and I really wanted to tell someone. Like I felt I was special and I was different from everyone.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God,
I wanted to share it with my best friend. And I shared it with her, and she was really supportive about it, and she didn't treat me different, but she treated me with respect and love.
So she also accepted that part of you, right?
Yeah, there were few people who didn't, and that's fine.
Yeah, but fair enough.
So
exactly. The first time, the reason why I asked you is, even though some families may tell the child that okay, they're adopted, or the child finds out, there is a lot of taboo about the child going and sharing their own experience to their friends and their immediate community. I think it's a very natural process of a person going and talking to their immediate circle about something about themselves, and it's their story to share, right? So I think it's very valid for any kid to go and talk about anything about themselves, but there is still a taboo. So that's the reason I asked you how was the experience. Did your parents know that you told anyone, and did they react in a certain way? Like, were they happy that you...
They were really supportive about it. Like, they always told, it's your wish, it's your comfort. If you want to tell, you can. If you don't want to, it's totally fine.
That's beautiful. I love your parents. So anyway, let's go back to what we were talking about. So do you feel there's enough space in India for adoptees to talk about their experiences openly?
I think there is, but someone needs to take a stand first.
Right.
That could be you.
I'm trying, we're getting there. But currently there is nothing that, like, at least that I have found is that there are no resources that kids can reach out to and find, ki someone saying ki, oh okay, like someone else has also been through the exact same thing, so I don't need to worry about it. It's very natural, it's very normal. So when you were a kid, have you ever tried to look out for such things on YouTube or something like that?
Not that I remember.
Or like trying to know if any other kids around you are adopted?
No.
No, that's crazy. Okay. So I always. Huh?
You did?
Yeah, so I always felt this lack of, community in general. And I remember I had an iPad. So I used to check out, adoption videos and all of that. And the only things that I could find were, let's say, US or like China, may people were reuniting with their families and all of that. So like, I found my mother, I found my father, this, that, and I was like, okay, this is a little too late. Like later, what about the now? Like, how are you going about your life? How are you accepting this term? Do you have any friends? Like, all of that? So just adoption in general. And then later, obviously, I started following a lot of YouTube channel where parents, like there's like Two in a Zoo and the Miller family and all that, but again they're all very US based, so they have adopted, let's say, Indian kids, and they vlog their life and all of that. So that is a different perspective, that is a parent's perspective, but that's all that there was. So for me, I always used to be like, Arey, kuch to, like some khujli that used to be ki, I need to know this, I need to know that. So yeah, I always did all of this. It's crazy that you didn't know any. I knew a few people, but they were maybe much smaller, or people that I couldn't talk to, that were adopted. So yeah, I was always looking for someone who was the same. Yeah.
I was always surrounded with my mom and dad, who used to be like totally open about it. So like, I never thought of
so you already had the answers that you were looking for. You could just ask them maybe. Okay, yeah, so that's nice. So yeah, that's very important for parents to also create that inclusive sort of environment where the child can freely ask their questions. Yeah. We don't have a community right now, per se, at this moment. How do you think, like, this generation of adoptees, especially because there is the world is so connected right now, how do you think we can change that? And what kind of conversations do you think adoptees of our generation should be having that we're not currently?
Like you can be having the what not to expect and what to expect from any internet or your parents, or something you research about your biological parents or something, and how to protect our mental health, maybe, and I don't know, how to face rejection, maybe.
So just, yeah, that's fair. What to expect and what not to expect from different situations. That's a good one. We'll try to make those videos then.
Yeah.
So I know you've read just a little bit about my book. If you could write your own short chapter for the book, Pocket Guide for Adopted Kids, what is something that you would add, or what would it be called? Like, if you could have your own chapter in it.
Maybe it could be for the group of teenage people who can understand the words and stuff. I may call it acceptance and gratitude, like accepting your own story, and accepting like what you are, who you are, and knowing that the other people don't define you.
Yes, definitely.
Who you are. And gratitude to the people who gave you so much love, and gratitude to yourself.
I love that.
For
yes.
Surviving the whole emotional ride.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. That is something I've spoken about in the last chapter as well. You will definitely try to add a chapter of acceptance and gratitude. This was wonderful talking to you. Thank you so much. It was super insightful. And I'll be reaching out to you for these things again. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.